thanks to the support as a channel member, Matthew Wally. Here we go then, folks. Biggest budget we've ever been given. We already have a good squad, and they're not all out of contract. We can actually take what we've already got, build on it, bring in better players that we can afford. It's like we're a real football club all of a sudden. I'm still not used to it, but I am having a lovely time. And welcome to part 110 of Wembley to Wembley. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, it is our season review and transfer special at the end of the best season we've ever had, league finish-wise. 7th place in League One in our first ever season in League One. That's something for us to build on. But first, our season review and signing of the season has gone to nobody. There you go. Fraser Randall came in, new goalkeeper. I guess fair enough. Makes sense. I mean, there's some other guys who I think would have been in with a shout. Jamie Shearer was a massive impact with him coming in. McHugh coming in and getting 26 goals. That's massive. But apparently loans don't count towards signing of the season. So I probably would have gone for maybe Bunce. 20 goal contributions as an 18-year-old, I think is pretty impressive. But there's been lots of very good players who've come in. So it was a good summer last year. Season-wise, obviously, we were supposed to get relegated and we ended up finishing 7th. Interesting. We've got nearly half of our capacity of our borrowed stadium. So that's an interesting one in terms of will we ever get a new stadium? Will we ever go back to Wembley? Fingers crossed. Sheffield United, by the way, back-to-back relegations from them off the back of their points deduction. Even without the points deduction, they still would have been relegated. So not a good year to be Sheffield United. They're going to be down in League 2 next year. And we are going to be in League 1 with Peterborough again, who ended up finishing 3rd, but failing in the playoffs. Finances-wise, we have improved our finances year on year again, thanks to another cup run. It got us more broadcast revenue. It got us more prize money. We even had gate receipts increased because they were just generally higher in League 1 as well. And you can see our reputation has also boosted a little bit, which is very, very handy. It'd be quite nice if we got some big boy sponsorship deals. We're still a little way away from that. I mean, our sponsorships have doubled, but 72 grand for a League 1 club is insanely low and is probably, along with our attendances, the place where we're still furthest off the pace. Shehu selling more shirts than anybody else, I think, is a really interesting one as a youngster who wasn't really spectacular, but I think everybody recognises he's got a bright future. That was our team of the year. We've got new players coming in the defence and the midfield already with our young Premier League youngsters. We're obviously going to lose Edwards, Bernard, McHugh. Shearer's going to be gone as well. So there's areas where we need to strengthen, although I guess target number one, McHugh's been given a new contract at Stoke. It's heartbreaking. We can't afford to buy him. Maybe we can loan him again. I think we probably need to go out and find a striker. Player of the year and young player of the year, both going to Bernard. He's also going to need replacing. Although I think with our youngsters already coming in, he's already been replaced. McHugh, top scorer. Bunce, most assists. McHugh, most man of the matches. And Lowe, highest average rating, has gone under the radar a little bit. And Fraser Randall also has set the club record for most clean sheets in a season at 16. I was a little hard on him at times, but he's actually not too bad. Our all-time best 11 isn't here. Where are they? No one went into it this year, so we don't get to see them. We just get the where are they now, which I don't even recognise half of these names. Who the hell is he? Don't remember. It's been a long save, but we've got some money coming in, which is always handy. That's one of the highest balances we've ever had. And these are the highest budgets we've ever had. So let's go out and sign some players. Looking at what we've got going into next season, I think we probably need a new keeper. I mentioned we had a new left back coming in. That's this guy, Karowski, who might not be ready straight away. But Dan Berry, who's been out on loan, is probably going to be ready to step into the team. He's had a successful loan with Gillingham, so he's likely to take over at left back. Right back, we probably need a right back. Centre back, we've got Rose coming in, and we're still going to have Bedard, Salucci, Lloyd. So I'm pretty happy with how things are at centre back. Might be time to move Yoshihama on. He didn't really play last season, and I don't anticipate him playing very much next season either. So if we get a decent offer for him, and it looks like there is somebody interested, we let him go, albeit to Cambridge, which would be horrifying for me as a posh fan. In midfield, Westlake and Cole are both good but old, and we saw as the season went on, we're at least one player short in midfield, so we definitely need another midfielder in. But priority number one has got to be a striker. Fenty probably isn't going to be the guy who plays centre forward for us. He's kind of found his role out wide. Bunce will probably be out wide on the other side, but I think we probably need an attacking midfielder to compete with Shehu, a proper starting striker. This guy, Tashan Septus, could end up being that guy. He's certainly quick enough. We shall see. But there's plenty of money. There's like £3,000 spare. So even with the youngsters already coming in, and there are a few of them that we'll meet in a moment, we've still got capacity to bring in another 3 or 4 first team quality players on free transfers when we come around to it as well. And that's if we don't sell anybody, because if we do manage to, we've got 0% transfer revenue retained. Let's ask to have a bit of that. Can we have a bit of that? Percentage of transfer revenue. And also, can we have a stadium? I don't think that's an unreasonable thing to ask. This is insane. But we've got a lot of young players coming in now, so it's time to start wasting the money on a youth setup. Let's see what the board have got to say about those things. So, confirmation of our record high, our recruitment meeting. We don't really do much in the way of recruitment meetings. Yes, we'll give him a new contract. Yes, we'll give him a new contract. I mean, we'll give these youngsters new contracts. These guys, though, less interested in renewing. Wally Muller, it's time for him to move on. Same with Breeze. So they're 2 boys that we would quite like to cash in on. I mean, Breeze in particular, if we can get anywhere near that kind of fee for him, that'd be delightful. We'd be happy enough just to get £2,500 off the wage budget, because it certainly frees up some pennies for us. But we'll offer both of those 2 out and see what can be found. Are we going to get a reply to those board requests? No? I mean, I'll let you know what happened with them, I guess. Here we go. So we can't have new training facilities. We have been given 15% retained transfer revenue. No word on a new stadium, which could be good. Justinison going back to Aberdeen. I don't think we're going to try and get him again after only 3 goals last season. I think we move on from him now. It's a shame because he looked like he was going to be a hero, but I guess 'twas not to be. No mention of this stadium. Is it on the club vision? No. Interesting. The owner's looking to sell again. So maybe we'll get a new owner in. He'll decide that he wants to build us a new stadium or something. Can we get McHugh on loan again? Nope. Didn't think we'd be able to. Edwards probably can't. I mean, we'll try again as the summer goes on. In fact, why am I like, don't do that, Kev. Don't. Bunce is going to be a starter. Now Shearer's gone. Right, well, we might get a new stadium then, because they haven't immediately said no. Wouldn't that be a thing? Are we getting a new stadium? For a minute there, I thought that was, yes, you're getting a new stadium. I don't think it is. It's 2 new contracts coming in, and no new stadium. Never mind, we're not going back to Wembley this summer. Right, it's time to meet our new youngsters. And of course, there is the one I'm particularly excited about, Gary Rose, who theoretically... I mean, my scout said he had Premier League potential. So he's a National League North-South standard with League 2 potential. And to be fair, my coaches know a lot better than my scouts. So it might be time to upgrade the scouts this summer. That doesn't bode well for the rest of them, does it really? Gary Rose, the pick of the bunch. Tashan Septus is a left winger who can also play up front. To be fair, looks like he's got higher potential, or at least League 2 potential, same as the other guy. Fenton Fenlon is a midfielder. He can also play in attacking midfield. He comes in from Aston Villa. Could improve a lot. Gonna need to. Przemysław Korawski is a... Okay, I thought he was a left back. He's actually a defensive midfielder who's not very good at all. I mean, he is genuinely awful. Brilliant. And then Jamie Shaw is a footballer. I mean, that's disappointing. What's happened there? We may have already reached the point where the Premier League youngsters aren't good enough to improve us, which is a real shame because our reputation was so low for so long that we only really had 1 season of being able to bring them in and them being great. I mean, maybe my scouts will end up being right about Rose. We'll see, I guess, but I'm not filled with confidence on what I've just seen if we get them into the squad planner. I mean, he's still the best centre-back at the club, supposedly, so I guess there's that. Wally Muller's gone. He went to Romford, dropped all the way down to the Isthmian League Premier Division, which, to be fair, is a league he will absolutely tear up. But yeah, he's gone. We're now waiting for the 1st of July for free transfer o'clock. Right, we've made it through to the 1st of July. There has been a little bit of business done before getting here as well. We got a £40,000 offer from Cambridge for Neil Lowe. He wasn't a player we were looking to move on necessarily. Had quite a decent season, 17 goal contributions, but at 30, I know earning over £1,000 a week seemed like a silly idea not to get rid. I think we can improve on him this summer. So he goes to Cambridge. Perini's gone to Preston. He'd been wanting away all last season and has now got his wish. And we've also had, there he is, that's what I was looking for. We've accepted an offer for David Breeze to go to Wigan on a free transfer. Nobody wanted to pay a fee for him, but he's on £2,500 a week for a player who got 3 goals for us last season. If they're dumb enough to pay his salary and take him away from us, we absolutely are going to let them do that. Which means 1st of July, we've got about £3,000 a week spare as it stands. Obviously, if Breeze goes, that adds another £2,500 to that, which would be very, very welcome. And it's pretty clear what we need. We need a goalkeeper, we need a striker, we need and some central players. And we're pretty decent out wide, at least for starters. And our defence is pretty strong, while our right back would be handy. So fingers crossed, we can go out and find exactly that by raiding the old free transfers. Let's go make that happen. Exciting times, boys and girls, after so many years. I forget how many years it is. We can go back and look. When did we get rid of our youth facilities? 2027. After 12 years, we are finally getting our youth facilities back. It's costing us $350,000. It won't be ready until January 2040. But that does mean this coming season, we should get a youth intake for the first time in 12 years. It'll be rubbish, but, you know, you've got to start somewhere. We have signed a few players as well. We've got a backup goalkeeper, Liam Halkett. He's not very good. He'll be fine as a backup keeper for us, though. Slightly better. Adam Duffy is a left winger, 22 years old, English, formerly of Newcastle, was on loan in fact, then went to Huddersfield, had a loan with Exeter, and should be good enough to be a starter for us. So he is in. Deegan Slocum is our new goalkeeper, another 22-year-old English player. He is formerly of Everton, was on loan at Port Vale in the National League last year. And Anthony Whitmore is another 22-year-old English player, this time a defensive midfielder, who is previously of Watford, was on loan at Hartlepool last year. All 3 of them should be good enough to slot straight into the team. Breeze did go to Wigan in the end, so that got him off the wage budget. We're potentially letting Bedard leave because he's told me he's going to let his contract run down. So we probably need to cash in, even though he's our best defender. We are trying to bring in another defender to replace him already. Money-wise, we are already getting close to maxed out, and we still don't have a striker. At the moment, I'm thinking it might be Fraser Fenty. He barely played up front last year. He might be our starting striker. We need to keep looking. It's only the 15th of July, but there's not much out there in the way of loans. As you can see, the rest of the team looking pretty strong. We do need to find a striker from somewhere, though. This guy, would love him. It's £4,000 a week, though. We just don't have it. We can't afford to pay him. But he scored 24 goals last season for Cambridge in League Two. Look at that as a goal scorer. We can find a way. I'd love to bring him in. Oh, goodness me. Well, this has kind of been bubbling over in the background all summer. It looks like our former chairman's final act was reinstating the youth setup because we have a new guy. Yet another takeover. Scott Day has taken over the club. If we have a look at the landmarks, you can see this happens quite often. It's our... Or to be fair, the previous guy was with us for 6 years and certainly presided over the best period in the history of the football club. We have... confirmation there's not going to be any more money invested, which is a little bit of a shame. They've also not paid off any of the previous loans. I mean, we've had these so long now, we've paid more than half of them back. We're close to getting ourselves out of debt. Wouldn't that be a thing? They're just looking for us to survive in the league. We can survive in this league. That's definitely doable, especially because we've signed a couple more new players. Bedard did leave the club. He's gone to Forest Green for 50,000. Definitely a miss. He was our record signing last summer, but we have sold him on for a profit. He didn't want to be here, so we may as well cash in now, which is what we did. We signed a new defender, George Squire. We needed a right back more than a centre back, and we now have one. George Squire is in. He can play centre back as well, but he's a right back who's formerly of Southampton, had a loan at Dorking last year. We also have a striker, Robert Swaby. He's 30 years old. He's not exactly what I was looking for because he's never been great. He's been a fringe player at Charlton forever. Don't read too much into the goals scored. He barely plays any games. Started 7 games, got 5 goals. Started 10, got 3. Okay, he started 35 and got 9 that year. He's not exactly prolific, but spent his entire career at Charlton. He's played 300 plus games at this level, and making him the main man and building the attack around him. He might just have a lovely old one-off season, which would be nice. And then Seb Scholes is our replacement at centre-back for Bedard. He's 28 years old. He's 6'3". He's formerly of Bradford and Leicester, amongst others, and can slot straight in at the back as well. We've also accepted offers for Yoshihama and Niall Scanlon, and we're also trying to get D'Souza out of the club as well to make room for new players. If we have a look at the best 11 as it currently stands, there are still a couple of trialists in, so it's not entirely accurate. So that would be Squire would be in there. New look back four though with Berry, the youngster who came in last summer and was out on loan at left back. He can probably be a wing back. You know I like a wing back. So it'd be more like that. New boy Slocum in goal. Who probably is a goalkeeper rather than a sweeper keeper, and then Scholes and Rose as the new look centre-back partnership. So very new look defence. It's definitely an area we needed to improve. It's been revolutionised, and still having someone like Lloyd, who was great for us last year, knocking around as a backup option. We've also got, what's his face? I can't remember his name, Salucci as well. So we've got plenty of decent options at centre-back, even losing Yoshihama and Bedard. New boy Whitmore alongside Nkatafa in midfield. We probably need at least one more midfielder. We've still got Westlake. We've still got Cole. I could probably do with one more midfielder, though, because we got very light there last year. And then Edwards is a trialist, but it'll probably be Fenty who starts on that side. Duffy there. We've also got... why can't I remember names right now? What's his name? Bunce. We've got Bunce who can cover anywhere in that area. And then Swaby up front. Fenty can cover up there. We still haven't looked at loans yet, but with 2 more players potentially heading out. I mean, we're realistically, even with the guys leaving who might be leaving, we're not getting back within that wage budget. So I think we're looking at loans now. We've got maybe a week before the season starts. Let's see if we can bring some loans in. So 2 long-time players have moved on. Scanlon has gone to Shamrock Rovers for £13,000 after 4 years at the club. And Yoshihama has gone to Cambridge for £40,000 after the same 4 years at the club. We then got an injury to our new striker, Robert Swaby, tore his abdominal muscle and he's going to miss the first 3 months of the season. So that's handy. We went out and panic signed a couple of strikers on loan. George Slivov is a Bulgarian under-21 international with a bright future, but might not quite be ready. He's on loan for the season. Can we get that out of the way? He's on loan for the season from St Johnstone. And Paul Marnie is an Irish under-21 international. He's 20 years old. He's on loan for the season from Ross County. We were also able to get Neil Edwards back on loan for another year. He was obviously with us last year from Cardiff, was pretty much ever present for us at right back. So he has returned as well. We weren't able to get McHugh back, even though the annoying thing, you know how Football Manager works, boys and girls. That was his name, wasn't it? Have I somehow managed to forget the guy's name? The Stoke striker, our top scorer last year. McHugh, that's what I just wrote, wasn't it? What I was ranting about initially, just Football Manager things. He was out of contract. They've given him an extension and immediately put him on the transfer list and marked him surplus to requirements. It happens so often. It's very annoying, but we can't get him back on loan. They want him to be tested in a different environment. So, yeah, at the moment, we are a little bit light when it comes to centre forward. So Marnie is probably going to start the season there, and we'll see how things go. Fenty might go up there. But we have got some new boys who are going to be in the team for this first game of the season, which will be in the next episode. Duffy, obviously the very new look defence and goalkeeper. And fingers crossed Marnie can just slot in where McHugh was last year. We still would like to bring in the guy who was at Cambridge last season, the Icelandic guy whose name escapes me, but he still wants $4,000 a week. And we don't really have $4,000 a week to spare, because we're massively over budget already. So I suspect we're not going to get him. I think we need a striker if we're going to be competitive. Still a month to go before the window closes, so still the potential to bring one in on loan. And obviously the last 2 years, our top scorers have been loanee strikers who we got towards the end of the window. So fingers crossed we're able to do the same trick for a third year in a row. The media still think we're going to finish rock bottom. I think we've certainly improved defensively. I think the back four and goalkeeper are a massive improvement on last year. The question is, are we going to score enough goals to be competitive? If we can, then I think we've got a very good chance of getting promoted. If we haven't managed to replace McHugh's goals, we might struggle. We need a striker. We need one quick. But that's it. That's a problem for future, Kev. We're not going to worry about that now. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Thank you very much for watching.